I'm joined in the studio by Mr Thompson's lawyer, Chris McArdle. Mr McArdle, thanks very much for your time.
Good afternoon.
When did your client find out about this?
1:15 or approximately, when he rang me up in a distressed state.
He was distressed?
Yes, and I've noticed that in that press conference then it was claimed that we were invited to go to Melbourne to surrender Mr Thompson before Christmas. That's just not so. That's completely untrue. We were invited on the 21st of December to go to Victoria to be interviewed by the police. It is untrue to say we were invited to go and surrender our client for arrest. That is not so. If we had been given that invitation, we would have done so. We wouldn't have needed this reality TV show that's going on. We would have taken him down there and he would have endured arrest.
So just to clarify, there was no invitation to go down to be questioned?
Questioned, yes, but that's not what was said just then. He was invited to go and surrender himself, is what they just said. Well, untrue.
Why then did your client choose not to go to Victoria to be questioned?
Because we live in a liberal democracy whereby you are not obliged to answer questions.
Did he not feel that it might help clear the air, that he decided that this may help in the process?
There is no clearing of air necessary. This fellow has done zero. There is nothing to explain. This man is innocent.
What has been your reaction then to the arrest of your client this afternoon?
Well, the way it was done, anger, that's now been compounded by this false assertion that he was invited to surrender himself in Victoria. That is not true. I'm not accusing anyone of telling lies. I'm simply saying that is not true. So our reaction is anger.
We heard the police spokesman say just then that the demeanour of Mr Thompson is one of calmness. Does that tally with how you have found him since the arrest?
I've known a lot of people with legal problems over the years. This is one of the strongest people I've ever met. He has endured this nightmare, this several years long nightmare, with great serenity and calm. But no normal human being could put up with it without being damaged, and he has been damaged.
What is your understanding of the process from here? There have been reports that it is expected that he is facing 149 charges. Yes, what have you been told? He
was told about one charge of an alleged offence in 2002. And what were you doing in August 2002? And he has to remember that one. But then he read out some of the others. Some of them some of these 149 charges are for $12 and $15. He's actually being criminally charged with having bought an ice cream. True, bought an ice cream is one of the charges. He has never seen them before. Channel 7 saw them before he saw them. The press release from the police media contained them before he saw them. It's just most unsuitable. I must say the police from Victoria that we've dealt with have been quite professional and approachable, and they understood our democratic right not to answer questions. But I repeat, we were never told he was about to be arrested, and we were not invited to take him down to surrender himself.
Have you seen this list of 149 charges?
I have not seen the list. I've only had some of it read out to me by my client.
Have you asked to have them forwarded to you, to be furnished by the Victorian Police to you, or via your client?
I haven't been in touch with them. It's only been about an hour and a half, so I haven't been in touch with anyone.
Where do you and
other than my client?
Where do you and your clients, Mr Thompson, go from here?
Melbourne on Wednesday, and then whatever the program that is laid down by the court then will follow.
You a moment ago said you had the air of a reality TV about it.
It's a circus.
Why would you say that?
This is something out of the Roman Colosseum. This man's being thrown to the lions. This is 5 policemen arrested a man for minor misappropriation charges, which we deny. You don't need 5 policemen to do that. You only need 5 policemen if there's a risk of violence. What an absurd thought. This has taken on the nature of a living documentary, and it is an utterly unsuitable way to besmirch someone's life.
In regard to the New South Wales police investigations, the ongoing investigations that were alluded to then by the police spokesman, what have you been told, or what is your understanding of its status at the moment?
Well, I got no understanding at all. We've not been contacted by the New South Wales Police, but from what I gather they're going to wait to see what happens with this one. It's almost like a warning that when we get him off of these ones, it's all right, they'll be waiting. This is just extraordinary conduct.
That's how you construe it?
Well,
as a warning?
I heard what he said. He foreshadowed that he would be waiting for months to see what he was going to do. I'm only repeating what I understood him to just say.
As you mentioned, next Wednesday you'll be going to Melbourne.
Yes,
with your client?
Our client will. We don't do Victorian criminal law, so we may have to get alternative representation in Melbourne, but our client will definitely be there.
I appreciate you haven't spoken to fully with Mr Thomson in regard to this yet, but what will be the plan for next Wednesday?
Well, it's a brief. It's important not to overstate what happens at the initial proceeding. Dates will be set for the police to produce their brief of evidence, which we then get time to consider. Mr
McArdle, I asked about your client's demeanour. How are you feeling at this juncture?
Well, it's not happening to me. I'm objectively professional about it, I hope, but I am angry on his behalf. And as a person who believes in the rule of law, I'm angry. This is the most unsuitable way to conduct proceedings, most unsuitable. Why
would you believe, or your statement of circus, you said some of the events that lead you to use that word, but why would there be a circus surrounding this, do you believe?
Because there's a hung parliament. If Craig Thomson was a backbencher in a parliament where one side or the other has a 6 or 7 seat majority, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I find it impossible to believe that he'd be charged with a criminal offence involving $12. Impossible to believe. And that's why it's a circus. I think there's a huge relationship between the hung parliament and this man's predicament.
Chris McArdle, lawyer for independent MP Craig Thomson, I thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.